Hello, Betsy.
Hello, Leanne.
So nice to see you today. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be here.
One of the reasons I'm really excited to talk to you is because we have something in common. We very much like or love the upcoming class that we have going on. It's called DMA,
Yes,
short or dimensional mind approach or integration of consciousness. Definitely one of my favorites.
mine too.
How has how has taking part in the DMA classes and techniques affected your life or impacted your life?
Wow. It has been really an integral part of most things I've accomplished in the past 10, 15 years. And by that, I mean, it has helped me update who I am or who I'm becoming in a much more deeper, rich sense, and in ways that are more real and tangible for me, things I can see every single day as I work on things. Um, and my focus has really been on what the experience I'd like to have, kind of no matter what's happening around me, um, and kind of giving up, I don't say responsibility, giving up, um, ruminating over the how, but focusing more on what it is that I want to experience and kind of letting DMA's allowed me to just let that the how to happen in the background. So kind of not sweating the small stuff
Oh,
and really focusing on what's really important and kind of designing more what I would like rather than all the steps that have to happen to make that happen.
yeah. No, thank you. Oh, when you say designing your own life, what do you mean by that?
Um, well, there's the 5 week progression of DMA takes you through week by week, building upon a set of skills and insights and um, training to listen to and use aspects of your mind, your consciousness, your unconsciousness, or other than consciousness, in ways that I never could before, even with quite a bit of meditation. And with that, you learn, you get exposed to different exercises. And one of those that I really love is positive self-image. And that's really to me, a design tool on what are the things I'd like to bring out more of in my personality or my life experience. And I update that regularly. And then I use the exercises to kind of anchor in the points that, um, I really want to focus on. And that has helped me evolve my capacity to handle stress, my capacity to deal with change, um, really focusing on what's important to me rather than everything.
Mm,
And it's helped me not be so concerned or so involved in what everybody else is experiencing rather than this happened. This is my experience. Okay. I can move on in a much more clear and clean way than getting kind of dragged around by either the minutia or the other emotional drama that happens kind of in life. And that steadiness, that ability to like look what your life could be like if you had an additional either confidence or insight or self-awareness or even other awareness. What would that balance look like for you that would serve you best? And that's kind of my approach when I do that kind of work. It's a little bit into the program. In each week of the 5 weeks, build on each other. So you don't want to jump ahead really, because the skills you learn and really training your mind to go, training how you can use all the layers of your consciousness to really bring more and more about what you would like. And it's not static, it can change over time. So that has really, knowing that, realizing that, it's a tool that can be kind of everlasting, evergreen in that sense, that it can continue to evolve as I face different things or I want different things, or I realize, oh, that didn't really work so well. I would like this instead. I get clearer and clearer, and I get clearer and clearer in my messages that I tell myself. And that is always useful. And that's part of the practice you learn.
It sounds like it's very suitable for the evolution of who you are.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. I've heard you say before. Oh, you're
I was
gonna
going to
say
say it's also
something.
suitable for uncovering what it is you would like. Um, there are certain exercises you do to really listen deeply. And interestingly, I don't know why I like this so much, but it's not the first thing that pops in my head. I write it down. But if I do the same exercise over a period of 7 days, 10 days, I get a list of things that come to mind. And in that list, then when I reflect on it, I go, oh, that's what the whole kind of gestalt is. It's not just this one thing that popped in my head, on a random day, but over time, you can really start to see the picture unfold. And that seems like a much more kind of realistic and holistic uh, view. It's just a way to learn more, I guess, about uh, what my consciousness is offering me and kind of knows about me essentially, and bringing it to my forefront of awareness.
That may not have been available if you hadn't have done this exercise.
Absolutely, had never been available to me.
Wow. So really it's like about coming into yourself and exploring, figuring out more of what you want, and then using those tools to, explore even further.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
One of the things I've learned is when I first started, I was very specific about, oh, I want, a new advancement in my career. I want this kind of income. I want this kind of role. And really, over time, I realized what I want is the experience. There's certain experience I want to have in a role I'm having, and a certain way of living with that gives me freedom to do certain things. And so rather than saying I want this amount of money and this type of position at this level, I really focused on the experience of it. And that freed me up to all kinds of different options that I had never considered, really. And through the exercises, you can explore that and kind of listen and, kind of deeper than intuition, I think, at a deeper level, learn more about what that really looks and feels like, and allowing it to happen kind of in the background.
Mm. It sounds amazing.
It
What
is.
you just said there about, not focusing on the individual aspects of the job and allowing yourself to have that or knowing or identifying what you want to feel like, what you want that experience to be. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. You said something a while back to me, and it really resonated. It was about DMA replacing, I believe you said meditation. Um, and I wanted to hear a little bit more about that.
Um, I think they're tools that are equally useful for different things.
Mm.
Um, and I used to have a meditation practice regularly. And I've had my ups and downs in terms of being frustrated with it and being loving it and being frustrated with it and loving with it. I guess that's the journey of a lot of meditators. Um, and I guess for my purpose was to really kind of clear out the noise in my head and get uh, allowed to have some rest almost was my purpose, and to feel more into my body and all that. And um, the layer that DMA does for me, at least, I don't know that it does this for everybody, and I wouldn't tell anybody to give up their meditation practice, because I think that's, it's a really useful practice. But for me, the DMA allows me uh, to do kind of that which meditation, or what I was seeking in meditation, which was kind of to know what's happening with my body, but also to recognize how much I influence myself all the time. How I can focus energy in one of the early exercises is in focusing your attention on your dominant hand. And when I recognize that, when I focus my attention on it, I can feel it more, and then I can actually increase that, as the exercise in the class teaches, and I can move that attention elsewhere in my body. What I noticed was it's not just what I was feeling, but how my mind and my body are always connected. And where my attention is in my mind, my body's listening, and my body's listening to my mind at all times. And went, oh my gosh, you know, there's a lot of connection here that is really useful to be aware of. So what DMA helped me notice was where my attention goes really matters. And if I'm really focusing on tension, I'm going to have tension. If I'm really focusing on moving things in my body, moving emotions, moving experiences, I can do that. And I can use my mind to help me do that, kind of exercise that capacity within me. And I can, it also provides that level of growing skill to notice where my mind's paying attention, where I'm paying attention, and how much that affects the way I think or the way I act or the way I feel. And that with regular kind of what I call syncing up with my consciousness and my levels of consciousness, I can focus my attention in more useful ways. And it can really serve me really well. And I notice a difference when I'm not doing it regularly. Mm-hmm. And notice, there's a real absence of kind of a self, what's that word? Autonomy or something that I feel I don't exercise when I'm not regularly doing DMA. I didn't have that experience with meditation. I had the calming, the quieting, when I could quiet things, those pearls of moments when things were quiet. But the DMA really helps me practice more of the movement and the use of the different levels of consciousness within me, to focus my attention, to ask useful questions, and to listen to myself answer those questions.
It's beautifully said. Thank you. Before we came on today to chat, I was definitely thinking about how DMA, I can have the chaos going on, but it brings me back to self and that connection that isn't there if I'm not practicing.
That's much more succinctly said. Yeah, well done.
I like the details of what you said. It was beautifully said. Thank you. I also wanted to, like, if you and I know that in this community, there's a lot of people that have taken this course over and over again, including you and I. But for somebody that is new coming into NLP Marin or to this type of work, do they need any experience to do this class, or is this for everybody?
I think it's for everybody. One of the things in their introduction parts of the material, parts we actually never talk about in class, but if you read the whole manual, as you get it, it's there. And it talks about whether you kind of believe it or not in the multiple layers of consciousness, which the class focuses on. If you just act as if that were the case, kind of suspend belief or any academic rigor around whether or not you can prove, evidence-based principles on multiple layers of consciousness and that you can tap into those. If you just suspend all that, you'll learn these skills, whether you believe it or not. The skills are kind of universal for anyone. And I think the journey of using it is different. The first time you're through it, you're kind of getting your feet wet. You're trying to understand kind of the rigor of the structure of the exercises, trying to say the words, that they have you do during the exercises on your own behalf. And you're really focused on technique. And then the more you get more comfortable with it, the more you make it your own and you really understand the breadth and depth of what it can offer you. And so I would say, if you're open to it, come with an open mind and just experience it, and then don't stop, keep going. And you'll meet other people who are on that journey too, and you can help each other learn. And those of us who keep repeating the class are always around to talk about it. And I think there's lots to explore. And where you start today is not going to be where you are 3 years from now on your journey with it, if you keep it up. Even if you take a break and you start it again, you're still going to have the foundational lessons, the learnings of how it works and what it's supposed to do or how it works. And then you'll be able to use that anytime.
Thank you. Yeah. The evolution that occurs over the period of time of the practice is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
And for people like you and I who have taken the course and are thinking about reviewing it, what would you suggest for them besides go for it?
Yeah. Take a leap and do it. I have to tell you a story really quickly. The first time I took the course, I got through all 4 weeks, and the 5th week I wasn't able to make. So I never did it. And so I didn't do much DMA. I mean, I piddled around with it a little bit after the class, but next year or 6 months later, whatever, rolled again. I took the course again, and something happened again on that 5th week. And for some reason, I had told myself, because I didn't do it in class, I couldn't do it by myself in the exercises. It was just this crazy thing. And so it seemed like every time I would start to do it, I'd always stop myself. And then finally I went, this is fascinating. Why can't I finish this? And so I finally took the class, and I went all the way through, and I went, oh, well, this matters. Doing that final week really matters. And it's like, oh, all the things just fell into place. And I went, got it. And it made it so much easier to just be able to flow then from on and on and on. But it's funny how we get in our own ways of what we're doing. And I learned something about myself in that process, and really had the great benefit of pushing through that and getting to be able to use all the weeks and all the exercises, and really benefiting from that. So
yeah, that's great. That's fantastic, because you, in that process too, you allowed yourself to acknowledge and notice that you kept, getting stuck at that point, and allowing yourself to process all of that led you to being able to complete that and go through the whole process of it. And
so when you get to when the new people get to the week 5, they'll go, oh yeah, this is kind of important. I had no idea what week 5 was about. And then when I saw it, I'm like, aha.
Think of Betsy when that happens.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that actually brings me to the final question I wanted to ask you. You had mentioned about the, being with people that have, done this before, and then new people that have never experienced. And for me, that's one of my favorite parts of being in this environment, because you are exploring, obviously differences on everybody's experience, but you're exploring it together. And I learned so much from hearing someone else's experience. You talking about meditation the last time I heard you speak about it, and that really resonated. I hadn't put that in the context that I did. So every time I take part in the class, I learn something new from my own experience of practicing, but also from everyone else.
Absolutely. And at the very least, you'll learn how other people think about their own goals and what they're reaching for. And that's always a stimulus for me for, thinking, would I like that? Or is that something simpler? Or would I want to reach for that? Or whatever. There's always ideas, that you can ponder, as well as being in a room with people who are on a journey to have a better experience in life, have more of what they would like, and learn a new skill to help them achieve that. So I think you're all there for the same purpose. And there's nothing, confrontational about this class. This is very much facilitating the discovery of your connection with your consciousness, with your deeper levels of consciousness, and how you can use that on your own behalf more and more. So it's really, I don't want to say gentle. It's a very easy environment, to learn and get acquainted with others. There's far more similarities than we recognize, and it's nice to be around others who are kind of on that same journey.
It's very true. Yes, thank you. Good point. And then you've got the collective consciousness that kind of moves out from that as well.
Yeah, you wonder what else is possible. Yeah, as you're all, it's really quite amazing.
Yeah, it is really amazing. Thank you so much for
You're very welcome.
Spending time with me today, and it's been absolutely wonderful.
You're welcome, Leanne.
As always, Betsy.
Happy to be here.
Thank you.
Welcome.